Hey everybody, John Troutman here. I'm here with Rafael Cortez on another episode of Truth or Comfort. What do you prefer? Hey, thank you for joining me today. I'm super excited to have Rafael here. We've become friends over a short period of time. He also has a real estate education coaching company. I'm all about promoting other people in the space. We're pretty like-minded in a lot of ways, and anyways, I'm happy to have you on here. Great shirt, by the way.
Oh yeah. I'm finally worthy of one of these shirts. I've been eyeing them for a while.
Yeah, where'd you get that? I actually need to see a receipt.
You have to be super elite in order to to get one of these.
You get invited to buy.
You got to know people. You got to know people.
That's a classic too. So hey, good stuff. Thank you for coming on. I want to talk to you about a lot of different stuff. Like I want to pick your brain on a few things. But first of all, tell us about your business and what you do. We know you are in wholesaling. You teach wholesaling nationally to people, and it's kind of taken off through COVID as well, right? You want to touch on this?
Yeah, no, absolutely. First off, and thank you for having me. We've had a lot of small bits and pieces types of conversations, but it's really cool to sit down and then just have a formal one here and put it all out there. So yeah, I do a couple of different things. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I do have an education business, so we teach wholesaling through Wholesaling Inc., which is a national brand. We have students throughout the United States. That's one of them. I'm also a real estate broker. I own a brokerage here in town. I'm an organizational psychologist, which is where people and businesses, kind of merge together. And that's really my favorite part of everything that I do, because I think it consolidates everything else. That's where the mindset, the strategy, the tactics, the processes all combine into this one single space. In my head, it all looks like one business with different arms per se.
To that piece, I wanted to talk about that specifically. I see you have all these different things, but that specifically, is that what you're coaching on?
No. So the education business is straight up wholesaling. So how to find your first deal. We have people who haven't done any deals and they're closing deals within 90 days, right?
Nice.
And it's a tried and tested. It's a proven process. I mean, it's all linear. That's the thing about coaching. There's so much information out there. People go to YouTube University and then they just get this mind of information, thrown at them, right? And it's hard. It's like playing with an unorganized box of Legos. You have all the pieces, right, theoretically, but you don't know exactly where they go.
Right.
And I mean, I think it's information overload is one of the biggest problems. Well, what I really focus on is trimming that out, cutting the fat off, making it. I have a philosophy in business, which is less business, more profits, and it's less as in lean, effective, strategic, and simple. So if I can have a business that's lean, effective, strategic, and simple, I'm winning, right? And that's the whole premise of really my coaching program. It's going through it, showing people, step by step, one foot in front of the other, take this action, this result, this action, this result, this action, this result, until they get to this, specific point where they're getting paid and they're building a business as they're going through it. I'm not a fan of the hustle. The hustle it's a season.
Right.
And we shouldn't see that as a lifestyle.
Right. Got it. So you're teaching this process that produces results. How long have you been doing this for?
I started wholesaling, for about 12 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, I tapped into real estate about 12 years ago. I used to have another business before then, which was in the transportation industry. But I started doing wholesaling and fix and flip, and just kind of getting my feet wet with some extra capital that I had. And then I came across, the concept of wholesaling, which is really it's selling your vested interest in a property. You're not fix and flipping. You're actually selling your rights to a contract to somebody else. Right. And the idea of making money on paper, and you're talking $20,000-$30,000 profits. It's a lot sexier than swinging a hammer. So you know what, I'm gonna dial this in and see where that goes. And I mean, it's up to this day, it's been one of my core activities as far as business.
Yeah, it seems like you definitely have it down. Sometimes I'm swinging the hammer, not literally, but the fix and flip. it's what I've done, right? I haven't done so much wholesaling. We do wholesaling on commercial and stuff like that, but totally different than the process that you're doing. And you're teaching more of in group session, correct?
Right. It's group coaching. And don't get me wrong. I mean, we do flips as well. But for example, we're the type of marketing that we do is direct to seller, right? Every time we are the first in the line of the people that can have an option to a property, we can cherry pick. So we're in a space where we can cherry pick. Oh, you know what? We're going to keep this one. We're going to flip this one. We're just going to wholesale this one. And I mean, it's a better place to be in. So that's what I like about the idea of wholesaling. The coaching that I do, it is group coaching, live calls every week. And that sort of thing. I mean, a ton of supporting materials and contracts and just, the ins and outs of everything that you need to get from no deals, no knowledge to, money in the bank.
And so how fast did you say it takes someone from kind of start to, when they first take action, if you will, of entering in your guys' program to doing a deal?
How
fast can somebody?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I almost see it as every time somebody asks that, it's almost like a loaded question.
Yeah. I know that's why
we have truth or comfort.
Yeah.
All right. So the truth is, one of the first conversations that I always have with my students is, are you interested in becoming, and having your own business? They usually say, yes, I'm very interested. Or are you committed to having your own business? Are you committed to, giving 4 hours out of the day to build this out while you have a 9-to-5?
Right.
So the people who really get into it and they're committed right out of the gate, take the actions, they go through the process, they actually follow the process that we have laid out. You're talking money in the bank within 90 days. And I mean, we've had some great success stories.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to see the correlation, right, between progress and profitability with action.
So let's talk about this for a second. Like, here's the thing that I think, and we had Chris on last week and he touches on it too. And I think it's going to be, and always has been, the theme when we meet and talk with successful people is, the work behind it all, right? So, I mean, you're saying you work a 9-to-5 and then you have 4 more hours of work to do. I mean, so you set that stage or expectation like, hey, if you want to be successful, you have to do this. Like, what do you think, or what do you see as the biggest issue when people get started? Like, is it sticking with that commitment? Or is it something else? Is it mindset? What is it?
I think it's people getting enamored with the idea of doing their own thing. For example, the word entrepreneur.
Right.
The phrase or the ideology of being an entrepreneur, really just gets tossed around without any due regard.
Right.
But it takes a lot, right? Think about it this way: every time you're working, when you clock in at 7, in the morning, and then you clock out in the afternoon, you're building somebody else's dream.
Right.
Now you're going to be spending your energy to build somebody else's dream. And if you're completely happy, if that's your state of being where you feel like you're in bliss and you enjoy it and you love it, perfect, right? You're living the dream. However, if you have that itch and you have that, that calling or that desire to do something bigger or do something better or just, get out of the rat race or do your own thing, own your options, as I love to call it. You have to build your dream after hours.
Right.
You have to be committed to building that dream after hours. What happens is that people find out that, oh, you know what, there's a lot of rejection. The reality of business, right? How many people do you have to prospect in order to get a yes?
Right.
It's a lot. People don't like being rejected. There's, sometimes, especially in the startup phase, there's going to be a lot of negativity from family members, pessimist thinking, all around, right?
Right.
And if you let that as an individual, if you let that get to you, it's going to stop you in your tracks. Mm-hmm. And I think it's one of the causes why people fall out of love with the idea of being an entrepreneur and they go back to the comfort zone. Like, oh, you know what? I don't need that. And they start creating fallacies.
Right.
Right. As you know what? I don't need that. It's too much work. I'm going to be here. I got benefits. I got this, and that. They
start to settle and their dream space starts to close back in, right?
Exactly. Go back to the comfort zone.
Yeah. So do you, you know, I've heard the analogy and we've used it, but like getting them their armor, right, to go out and have these conversations or not have the conversations.